Hello guys, welcome to another episode of our Blender tutorial series. Okay, so today we are going to create what you see on the screen. Okay, so I was experimenting on something and then the idea came, I was like, hey, let me show you guys how I achieved this result. So without wasting much time, let's jump into it. Okay, so first, I'm going to close this. I'm going to get rid of, we're actually going to create a new scene. Okay, so let's come to this and create a new scene. Okay, so we have absolutely nothing on our screen. So the first thing we're going to do is to get our cube. Okay, and then I'm going to scale it on the y-axis, bring it down a bit like this. Maybe bring it down a bit. Yeah. And then let's go to the transform. I'm going to make it like 0.4. No, 0.04. That's too much. So you have to experiment on it to see the results, the number that kind of works for you. Okay, so first we are going to need our cube. Okay, so I'm going to create a cube and I'm going to bring it all the way down to about this point, maybe this. And also I'm going to scale it down on the x-axis a bit, about this size. Yeah, about this size. And then I'm also going to, let me bring down the depth a bit. Yeah, so we have something like this. Yeah, I think, how about like 0.32? Yeah, this is okay. And then I'm also going to bring this one down a bit. Yeah, right. So you may have to experiment on the size that works for you, but I think I'm going to keep this. I'm going to leave my this. So the next thing I have to do is to hold control, like apply the transform, because you want to make all of these same number as in 1. So excuse me. So I'm going to press Ctrl A and scale it all out. So now we have like a uniform scale. Okay. So next, let's go to Next, we have to go to the modeling phase because we have to add the details to it. Okay, like this. Or is it the testing? Like we are going to add this little bit details to it, and I'm going to show you how I did this. Okay, so it's a bunch of loop cuts, extrude, and stuff. All right, so let's go back to our scene, and I'm going to name this one to tutor scene. Okay, all right. So let's go to the edit mode, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the edge and select this edge, hold shift, select this, hold shift, and then select this. So we select all the 4 edges without using the face edges as well. So we don't need that. We just need the corners. Okay. So the next thing we have to do is I'm going to go on the front view, and I'm going to press Ctrl B, and I'm going to bevel it out. Okay, so be careful you don't let it get too close, because when you do that, when you try to add like the insert faces, it's going to clip. Okay, it's going to do something like this. It's going to give us some weird shit. So we don't want to do that. We want to avoid that. So I'm going to leave mine right at this point. Okay. Yeah, right at this point is fine. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to select the face and then add some insets. So select this face and then select the back face. So the next thing we have to do is to add the inset. So press I and then insert it. Okay, so you have to choose an insert depth that works for you. Okay, in the thickness. So insert, and then another one here. So let's just leave it, and then we'll come back to it later. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the this whole face. Okay, so I'll hold Alt and then click, and then hold Alt, Shift Alt, and then click the back as well. So the next thing we have to do is to add extrude. We'll extrude inwards. Okay, so come here and then select this, and then I'm going to hold, click and drag this, and then extrude inwards. And then you also have to choose a depth that kind of works for you. Okay, so I'm going to leave it as it is. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to select this face and then select that face. And then I'm also going to extrude inwards again. So extrude. And then I'm going to leave it like this. Okay. So because we selected the front and then the back face, we are doing the same. It is affecting the back and then the front face at the same time. So we don't have to repeat it like twice. It might not match. The insert might be off. So that's why we're doing it like that. So everything works systematically. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is to add like details. The reason why we have to add details is, let me show you the reason why we have to add details. So when we move out of, let's say, our edit mode, and then we go to bevel. Let's say we go to the modifier and then we add a bevel, search for a subdivision surface, we get this weird shape, which is telling us that there is no enough segments. Okay, so we need to add those details in order to get the right shape that we're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to turn off this, and then we are going to go back to the edit mode. So what we have to do is to add loop cuts. Okay, we have to add loop cuts to add details to the objects. Okay, so now what we have to do is to come to this part, and then we're going to add like 2 loop cuts here. So I'm going to press, so this is your loop cut. Okay, this is your loop cut. The shortcut key is Control R, so that's what I'm going to use. So Control R, and then I'll bring a cut here. Control R again, bring another cut here. And then we need 2 inside here. So Control R, cut, Control R, cut. Okay. And then another here, Control R, and then another one down here. Here. You have to eyeball it, okay? There's actually a way to do it, but I just want you guys to get what we are trying to do without confusing you. Okay, so the next part too is this side and then the inside. So select loop cut, and then another one here, and then inside, undo, inside, and then another one to here. Okay, so we'll get back to this. Now you know what? We will come back to that. So let's go to the back and then do the back one too. So cut here, cut here. So I'm not going to bore you with this cut. So I'm going to speed it up, and then I'll get back to you guys.
Don't know where to begin, but hold up, relax, take a seat.
Okay, all right, so we are done. Okay, so the next thing we have to do, I added some details here, like details in here. So I'm going to do two loop cut. Okay, so I'm going to cut and I'm going to scroll up once and then I'm going to click and then escape. So we have these two loop cuts. And I'm going to repeat the same thing here. So loop cut, scroll, click, and then exit, escape. Okay, so we have this. So what we have to do, we want to extrude inwards this two selected like faces. Okay, so let's go to the face and then hold Alt and then click, and then we go back to the other side and then select. And then on the extrude tab, let's just get closer and then let's extrude inwards. Okay, a bit like this. And then let's go to the edge, and we also have to add some details to it. I think so. So control, no, let's just leave it. Let's just leave it, and then let's move out of edit mode and activate our what we call our subdivision. And now you see it is working for us. Okay, but this face is giving us some weird shape. That's because we need to add another like insert faces. Okay, like we need to add some more face inserts. So let's turn it and let's go back. So let's select the face and then select the back. Then let's go in closer. And then let's add insert eye, and then let's bring it down. Ooh, it's not working. Hold on, just a minute. Let's try again. Okay, so let's do this, and then let's insert it again. And one more time. Yeah, so this is what we have. So let's move out and then activate it, and then this is what we have. Beautiful. Okay, so you can increase your subdiv to make it smooth. So this is what we have. I like it this way. So right click and shade smooth. So we have a smooth model. Okay, so don't forget to save your work. And we are done. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is to add our lights and then our backgrounds, and then we move on to the texturing part. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is to I'm going to divide my screen into two. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of the UI and the gizmos and stuff. All right, so the next thing is to add a camera. Okay, so I'm going to add a camera. Let's add a camera. So but before I add a camera, I'm going to put this shape into its own collection. So let's create a collection and then name it, let's say cube. Cube. And then I'm going to put this inside, and I'm going to give it a color code. Let's say this. And then I'm going to create another collection. I'm going to name it scene. What is wrong with me today? Scene. Is this scene? What is that? Scene. Okay, so now this scene is going to contain other stuff. Okay, so we will organize our scene as we go. All right, so camera is going to go into this scene. And so let's go to add camera and then add our camera. Okay, so I'm going to go to the transform. I'm going to zero out. And then we have to rotate this on the x-axis. So make it 90. And then let's rotate it now on the z. So let's make it negative 90. Okay. No, you know what? let's leave it at the, oops, let's leave it here and then move it back on the Y. Okay, so let me bring it back. And then I'm going to create a constraint for the camera, okay? So a target for the camera. So we are going to add a constraint to the camera and then target it to apparent it to the target. But before we do that, let's just do that. Let's just do that. So constraint. So let's add come to like add and then go to empty, and I'm going to add this. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to name it target. Target. Okay. So select our camera, go to constraints, and then add track to, and then select our target as a constraint. And then when we move around, see we have the camera locked to the target. Okay. So let's go to the camera mode. So when we move the camera, we get this nice lock. Okay, so I'm also going to change my aspect ratio. So I'm going to make it 1080 by 1080. So we have this social media size. Okay, I'm going to bring it closer. Okay, let me just leave it like this. The next part is going to be, don't forget to save your work because Blender can crash at any time. So the next part is I'm going to add a controller to this. So I control the rotation and the position of this shape or our subject without affecting its main transformations. Okay, so let's go to add and then go to empty and then add a cube. And then I'm going to scale it down. Let me go to the front view. Say this about that. Okay, so select this and then select our empty last and then press Ctrl P, object and keep transformation. So when we can just have this, work the way we want. So I'm going to pose it a bit. So let's say let's go to the transform and then let's pose it, set a pose for our camera, our object. So about this is right. Okay. Yeah, about this is right. The next thing is to set up our render engine, which is going to be cycles, GPU compute. Max resolution is going to be 100 for the viewports, and then the render is going to be 200. I'm going to make my 200. So it's time to add light to our scene, okay? So first, what we have to do is to go to the front view, and let's add area light. And I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to bring it this way. But before that, let's go to the render view so we see what we're doing. Okay, so select our lights, and then I'm going to make it this big, and I'm going to go to the lights settings and then increase the strength. Okay. Let's say this. No, let's do 160, and then duplicate X, rotate to it about this, and then also bring down the brightness. Okay, so let's leave it as this for now. Okay, yeah, and I'm also going to add one more light. Duplicate, bring it to the center. Okay, go to the top view and then rotate it this way, and then move it close to the camera so you have a light hitting the front. Okay, so let's just leave it leave the power like this, the strength of the light. Let's just leave it this way. We'll adjust it later. The next thing we have to do is to bring in our background. Okay, so go to mesh plane, and then let's say rotation X, make it 90, and then take it back, and then make sure it fits in your screen size, like on your aspect ratio. I think this light has to go back a bit, like this, okay? And this one too, take it back a bit. So we have this nice light, but we will adjust it later, so no need to worry. Bring it closer, and then reduce it, okay? I'm going to bring in our background, so I'm going to select and scale, apply the scale, so we have like a uniform scale. So let's go to the shader editor, create a new, and then call it BG design. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in an image texture, type image texture, and let's connect it to the base color. Go to this and then select this. So this is what we have. Okay, this is what we have. Because we are using the same design size, which is this is 1080 by 1080, so it kind of fits perfectly. Okay, so you can also get your design ready, or you can download something from the web and then use it however you want it. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it like this, and the next part is going to be our glass material. Okay, so let's select our object and then add new, and then let's name this glass mat. Just complete it, glass material. Okay. All right. So the next part is to delete this principal shader, BSD. I don't need it. So we are going to bring in some nodes to help us get our glass material. So the first one is going to be, let's add a mix shader. First, I'm going to add a mix shader. Next, I'm going to add another, let's bring in our glass BSD, this one. And I'm also going to bring in add shader. I'm going to duplicate it again. And I'm also going to bring in a light part, okay, light part. So this one right here. So let me collapse it and bring it here. So this one is going to go into this. This is going to go into this. This one is going to go into this. And then you see our glasses coming. It's actually coming up. And then let's connect this to this. And the next one is let's bring in our light path. And then the transmission depth is going to go into the factor. Okay. Is it transmission? Yeah, transmission, this one. So the next one is going to be our refraction BSD. So this one is going to go into this, and then make another copy, and this one goes into that. Make the last copy, and this one goes straight into this one. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, now save your work. Don't forget to save. Okay, so we want the RGB primary colors. Okay, we want the RGB colors, the red, green, and blue. Okay, so that is what is going to give us the dispersion color, okay, effects that we need. So first I'm going to work on the IOR. So this one, I'm going to make it 1.4. This one is going to be the same. I'm going to leave it as it is. This one, I'm going to make it 1.5. Okay. Yeah, nice. And I'm going to go to the color, go to RGB, bring down the green and the blue, and then go to the next one, and then make this one red, and then the blue should go. Or no, the blue should go, and then the red, and then the green will go. So if you do it right, you should see this coming to form. Yeah. So what we have to do next is add some roughness to this roughness. We can, input them like, we can input single numbers. Okay. But I want to have them controlled by color ramp. Okay. Like a roughness map. Okay. So let's add a color ramp. This one. And I'm going to connect the color to the roughness, this color to the roughness of the green, and then this one to the blue. Okay, so this is what we have. Now let's adjust it. And then this is the results that we get. So the roughness is what is giving us this frosty feel, okay, which is very nice. So you can adjust it however you want. Okay, so I'm going to leave mine at this, and this is looking so good. Yeah, so let's go back to our viewport, and then I'm going to let's do a test render. So let's hit F12 to render, and then see what we have so far. This is looking good. This is nice. This is very nice. I think I'm going to increase my render samples, okay, so I get something much more cleaner. So let's go here, and I'm going to make this one 300 or maybe 400 samples. Okay. Okay, so next is I'm going to increase my light source from this direction. I'm going to, let's make it 200. Okay, 200 is nice. And bring in this one a bit closer. Yeah, so if you feel like you still need to add some lights, maybe what we can do is to add an environment light, okay? So the environment light, I'm going to use a texture like, let's say a gradient texture or colorful background texture to light the scene. So because I want to see the reflections of the background or the environment on the glass. Okay, so let's go to our shader editor and then go to the world view. No, go back. And then what we have to do is create a new environment light. So this is going to be our environment background. So let's bring in the shades, and then let's search for, okay, so we already have it here. So search for environments. You can also do it from the WhatsApp here, okay? But I prefer doing it here. So this is going to be total black. And then this one is going to go into this. And then we select our, so I'm going to go to the BG, and this is what I'm going to use. You can choose any abstract background of your choice. So let's select this. And then this is what we have. Beautiful. Okay. So if you don't like this distraction that you see around here, fine. You can come to the render settings and then go all the way down to film and then turn it off. So this is what you get. Okay, so this is looking good. I like how this whole thing is reflecting on the glass. It makes it look nice. So you don't have to do that. If what you come up with your lights, your area light is okay, that's fine. So let's do another test render to see what we have so far. This is nice. This is actually nice. I like this. This is nice. Okay. This is beautiful. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to add a little bit of curves adjustment to. But before we do that, hold on. Let's go to the render settings and then go to light path, and I'm going to increase this one to full. What it does is it get rid of noisy stuff in your distance. But if you like noise, you can keep it. I want to have like a clean glass without noise, so just increase the numbers here. So yeah. So I'm going to do a more render to see what I get. So this is rendering at 400 samples, and it's going very fast. I like it. This is nice. Okay, so beautiful. So this is what we have. Okay, this is what we have. So I'm going to add some curves adjustment to it. Okay, so let's go to the compositing tab, and then create a new compositor nodes, and then I'm going to bring this one here. I'm going to create some space for the node. So go to and then search for color. Now let's look for RGB curve, this one, and let's connect it, and then I'm going to adjust it a bit to create the best curve, kind of. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, so I like this. Yeah, I like it. This is fine. So let's go back, and then if you want to see the adjustment that you made in the viewport, you can come to camera. You can select on this drop down and then go to camera, or you can put it at always. Yeah. So disable means you're not going to see it. Camera means it is going to be effective in the viewport. So whatever you do in the compositing is also going to show up in the viewport, so you get a sense of what you're doing, and then also the look that you have gotten so far. So let's say let's adjust our camera a bit, maybe this one actually, and then we could actually make it bigger or smaller, kind of like it this way. You can even redirect it wherever you want it to have the effect. You can just do that. Okay, so I think we're done. Yeah, I think we're done. I'm actually going to bring this one a little bit closer, and then reduce it a bit, just like that. And then I'm also going to move this one to the right a bit, so I get the S as the correction, and maybe front view, and then rotate it this way, so you have the S and then the O showing through the glass. Okay, so I think that is it for the video. And then what you have to do is to render, and then we are done. So when you render, you can take it to Photoshop and then do whatever you want to do with it. So this is the end of our tutorial. I really appreciate you guys for sticking to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. So until next time, be safe.
There's a sapphire glow in the creative air. We break the complex down, keep it simple and true, 'cause every master start a night plus on cue.